everyone, it's Tawney. I am coming to you from a different view than I usually do. Um, this is a very bad angle. I feel a little bit like meh. I feel like a blob right now, but what better time to talk about this than whenever I feel like crap? Um, but I mean, I laugh and you know, um, as you can tell by the title of this video, I wanted to talk to you all about my struggles with weight loss, like weight gain, all that surrounding weight and what that, you know, brings. And this is a hard topic to talk about. I think for anyone it's a hard topic to talk about, but for me it's something that I talk about it, but I either joke or I cry or I'm uncomfortable. And all three of those things might be happening in this video. I'm betting they will. That's just how, how I cope, how I deal, how I process all of this. My weight has been an issue for a long time now. For me, for other people, it seems, just in general, it seems like it's been a problem I've had to deal with for a long time. I look at pictures of me when I was like 4 or 5, and I was never a heavy child. I had, little rolls on my legs here and there, but I was like 4. Every baby's fat or skinny, and they grow to be the same. Like, they run, they eat, they like build up their stamina and things, and they like add on or get rid of the pounds. It's normal. I don't think a baby's weight should be concerning, because, or at least unless the doctor tells you. That's how I'm like. But I was never that heavy. I was never a child that like you knew was going to grow up to be fat. And it didn't really like hit me until like 9 or 10. I remember, because my family didn't have a whole lot of money, we weren't really like the type to go shopping a lot. We didn't go and buy new clothing all the time. My mom is not the type to go and buy new clothes whenever she like just feels like she needs new clothes or doesn't fit into hers. Like, she mainly buys new clothes when there's like rips and tears and she just can't wear the clothes anymore. And that was just how we grew up, without having like a whole lot of money to spend on this stuff. And I think that really affected my weight and the way I looked at myself, inadvertently, more so than just the fact that like we didn't have money, so I couldn't afford clothes, so I was fat. Like, it didn't work that way. It was just like I noticed that we didn't have the money, and that kind of added to everything that happened. And it was like 4th, 5th grade, something around there. My mom came home and brought me a new pair of pants, and that was like the pants that I wore. And I was already like an 8 or 10 in like women's sizes. Had already skipped like juniors and stuff, like, or at least that was what fit me. And that was like 15 years ago, give or take, like 13, 14 years ago, something like that. And it was, it was a very difficult time. I remember in middle school, I went from having 2 classes of kids, and then we had another school merge. So I had all these new kids, all these unfamiliar faces, and we were split into sections. And it was funny because my section was mostly kids that I knew, that I had gone to school with since kindergarten. So it was especially hurtful that like all of a sudden I'm not worthy of being around you, or you're like, you're going to be mean to me now all of a sudden, when like things were fine a year ago. Like, I was going through puberty at the time. Like, it happened end of 6th grade. I was dealing with trying to, meet new people when I'm an introvert. I'm not good at meeting new people. I was trying to like get through school when I'm not like the smartest kid, and I'm not one to raise my hand, and when I get called on, I get flustered, and like, all that anxiety comes up and stuff. And dealing with the fact that I was like, I wouldn't have considered myself poor, but I definitely didn't have the money to like keep up with trends, keep up with my classmates, keep up with things that were like common and mainstream, and like what we read in magazines and on TV and things like that. Thank goodness we didn't have social media at the time, because honestly, I don't know what would have happened. Like, for most kids, I think that's very traumatic to deal with, especially when you're, on the more impoverished side of things, and you also have the weight to deal with. But I remember there was this really cute boy that would talk to me in my math class in 6th grade, and he liked me because we got along, we had things in common. He told jokes and I laughed, and like it was your typical, And I was told by somebody that I wasn't pretty enough, I wasn't skinny enough to be friends with him, to talk to him, to have him like me. And it was like he didn't feel that way, but because they did, then that was like I saw that I wasn't, up to that and all that. I wasn't like capable of being in a relationship, or like, just that dating that you did when you were in 6th grade and whatever. And this was like age 11, age 12, something around there. And it just made me feel so bad. And middle school was especially rough time for me. I remember getting a purse from a friend and using it until it had too big of a hole that stuff would fall out of it. That was how, like, I didn't have the money to go and get new things. I used them until they literally could not be used anymore. I used the same pants. Like, I remember I would wear the same pair of pants until they got too disgusting and dirty that I had to wash them. I would reuse clothes that were dirty on the floor because they either didn't get washed, or I didn't have enough clothes that they, and it was all like, and I got bullied because I didn't wear a bra until later, and like until I got bullied for not wearing a bra. And it wasn't like anything on my parents, because they had me and my sister, but they weren't really like in the parenting aspect of like, hey, we need to educate you on when to wear a bra, when to wear deodorant, when to wash your clothes, when to shower, things like that. And like I remember my hair was always an issue for me, and like I have long hair now, but I had longer hair then, and I hated having it combed, but I didn't have the discipline to comb it all the time. And I would get like big nests, like rat's nests, like tangles in the back of my head that I eventually cut out whenever I went to the hairstylist, because they were just too bad to deal with. And my mom couldn't comb my hair because I wouldn't let her, because it, like, I don't know what was going on in my head in middle school, and honestly, it's a point that I hope I can like black out and never remember again, because it's such a terrible time for me. But I got bullied for so many things, and I think that really affected how I saw myself, more so than like the weight. Like I knew I was bigger and it wasn't a problem, like I got it, no big deal, whatever. But the bullying made me really see that there was a weight problem. There wasn't a problem until people started bullying me for the fact that I was a little bit bigger. And then it started to like hit me that, hey, I'm fat, hey, I'm too big, hey, this and that. And that really affected how I saw myself, how I carried myself. I really withdrew a lot going into high school. Like I wasn't open. I wasn't somebody that like, oh, hey, we need somebody to read. I didn't jump on it, even though I read constantly. I was the girl that carried around some sort of chapter book, like Twilight or something, all the time. Like, and into high school, I didn't like taking more like popular kid classes. I didn't like taking things that were a little bit more challenging, because I feel like I didn't fit in with those kids. They were very peppy and rich kids, and they were pretty and thin, and that wasn't me. So I didn't feel like I belonged. So I didn't push myself harder, and I just didn't try. And like I don't really think the weight had much to do with that aspect, but I think it definitely did like weigh on me. And like I started, I did marching band my 11th and 12th grade year in high school, and I think that really helped. And like I was around people that we were all different sizes, all different heights, and like we just loved each other, and we were just such good friends, and like we never had a problem with weight. And I think that really helped me like get through it. I know there's a lot of kids that like weight, they either do something drastic as killing themselves or harming themselves in some way, or they like withdraw, or like drop out because they can't handle it, because the bullying is just too much. And like I'm glad I never had that experience, but I think the bullying was a big problem, and like schools don't notice it, or they don't, if they notice it, they don't say anything. They don't really try to like make it, they don't try to do anything about it. And I think that's a big problem. I think that's why most people have issues. And like it falls into like when you go into college and when you get a job, and like I just always compare myself to other people, always see that I'm not good enough, and like, I'm in a bigger size, and it's hard when you go places and the bigger sizes are more like work clothes, they're too fancy, or they're for like older people, as if older people just like the fatter you get, the older you get, kind of a thing. Like that correlation is so like misleading, and like just not, it's not healthy for anybody. And it just like, it's hard when you go shopping and what used to fit in junior section you no longer can fit into, and you have to go into the plus size section. And like, because I used to be able to fit into junior stuff, and it was tight, and I knew that, whatever, I would try and make it work. But I just, like, it got to the point that things just stopped fitting, and, that's how things are, and, like, I came to accept it for a while, and then I started to notice it again, and it's just like a cycle. And I remember ninth grade, my best friend at the time, she was withdrawing from herself and going through like a stage, and she was just very depressed and stuff in middle school, and I just kept clinging on, hoping that like I would be the person to save her and help her, and like I really desperately needed that friendship from her, as if it was like validation for who I am as a person. And in ninth grade, she told me I was too fat to wear a certain pair of clothes, and that immediately like affected me big time. But smart me in ninth grade was like, nope, we're not friends anymore. I'm not going to talk to you. I don't want to be associated with somebody who thinks of me that way, who's going to tell me to my face that I'm too fat to wear something, as if she's able to tell me that like what I can and can't wear. Like, it was just so hurtful, and like nobody should have to deal with people saying that, telling them that like it's not okay. And I think that like finding YouTube, being on YouTube, really helps to see other people like me. And I know that they're trying to live their lives and they might not see their weight as a problem, but it helps to know that there's other people like me out there. And I think, and I'm gonna like not shamelessly plug because it's not on me, but like I watch a lot of people like Sierra Schultz and Carrie Dayton and other people that are very, body positive. They talk about their struggles and, things that have bothered them in the past and how they move on. They talk about things that are currently bothering them now, that when they see celebrities, it hurts their, makes them feel bad, makes them feel like they're not good enough, that they're eating too much, or they're not eating healthy enough, or they're not working out enough. And I think it's really helpful that they open up and share these things, so that we know that it's still happening even while they're like accepting themselves and, just living their lives as they do. And I think that's something that like we can all take from them, from that experience, from what they share. But I just know, like, I never went on crazy diets. I would try and lose weight here and there, but I just never had that discipline. And I honestly just got to the point that like I'd rather eat food that I like. I'd rather be comfortable than like try and eat healthy and be miserable. Like, I try healthier meals and stuff because I want to, not because I feel like I have to, not because I feel like I need to lose weight, just because I'm, interested in seeing how it tastes. And like, I've gotten over that stage of like worrying about what I eat and it making me fat and stuff. And like, I feel like I'm in a good place, but at the same time, there's still times like I looked at myself wearing this sweatshirt and I was like, man, look at that blob. Like, her head's so much smaller than her body, and it's just, and then I see things that are like, make sure you wear clothes that look good on your body shape, and then they show this shape and this shape, and part of me is like, thank goodness I don't look like that, and thank goodness my body doesn't look like this, and ugh, my body is this shape. And it like, even the shape thing is a problem, and like, we don't notice it because we don't think it's like hurting us, but in the same time it kind of is, and like, it affects me. And I can't say it's going to get better. I can't say you just need to fight through, because for some people it doesn't get better. For some people it's a problem that they had to deal with for a long time. And it's not something that comes easy. It's not something that like, over time things will pick up. We'll feel better about ourselves, It's just something that like, it'll, we just have to find our peace. And I think that's really, the whole thing is just figuring out where you are, what you're comfortable with, how, things affect you, how you can work around that, your coping skills. I think that's a big thing, is like just understanding how you can, like, if you see this and it's going to be something that hurts you, how you can move past that and, deal with it. I think that's all I really have to say. That's kind of my story. I know it was pretty vague, but it just kind of like, I don't want to get into a whole lot because it's still like fresh. It's still things that hurt. And like, I don't know. I feel like I've talked enough that like my story is there. Yeah, I hope you guys like this video. I don't know if I'm going to leave the comment section open or not. I know that YouTube, you get a lot of that criticism, you get a lot of the hate. When you talk about yourself in a personal light, you open yourself up to a lot of criticism and, all of this bad negativity and things. And I don't know, I think I don't know. But, yeah, thanks for watching. Definitely like the video if you relate, if, you want to support me, blah, blah, blah. Subscribe. definitely ring the notification bell somewhere. Check out some of my more peppy, happy videos. And yeah, thank you for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.